you ask God for. And if you need to be tough when you get to where you're going, then he gonna toughen you.
What is going on, crypto enthusiasts, Liquidity Citadel, new subscribers, returning subscribers? Happy Wednesday. Got a lot of movement that occurred last night for ETH and BTC, to be quite honest. So I'm going to go over a couple different bias that I have for it, bullish and bearish bias, and targets that I'm looking at. In short, looking at scalp longs right now. I think there's a little bit more room that we can go down to the downside before we actually find some true recovery here, but it's still going to be an opportunity for scalp longs altogether. We are going to be, or at least I am going to be running a personal challenge here. I'll be running it on LBank. Be sure to check out the referral link inside of the description where you can get some discounted fees on your trading experience, and you'll also be part of the VIP circle inside of our server where you have elevated education content and also signals in the sense of entries, longs, shorts, what have you. That being said, let's go ahead and dive right into the charts, kind of give you an idea as far as what I'm looking at here. So I'm going to start off with a 4 hour. Let me go ahead and open up this chat with you guys so that way we have it rolling. 4 hour wise, you see, just really simplifying it, we did get a 9 failure right over here. That's what this green impulse candle was, and we did sweep it with this new weekly low that we just created here at the 2051 area, 2054 benchmark, which also so happens to be the New York open low as well. So we're in this really tight range in the sense of this current session for New York. PM session just started a couple minutes ago, roughly about 48 minutes ago. So we're seeing if we're going to have continuation to the downside or if we're going to be seeing a push up. But all that being said and hopefully understood, when I utilize this on the 4 hour and I'm looking at this example right here for the 9 failure, and then we swept it, we also had the same thing right over here. This was a 9, this was an 8, and then this was a 7. So this is going to be a target that I would anticipate that we would sweep, and how deep that can go. You know, I have some fib levels that I'm going to dive into in here in a second, but that would be my guesstimation, if you will, as far as where we would go, is sweeping that current low 2015 and some change, and then coming down into 1900s. That could be 1980, that could be 1950, that could be 1930. So it's really going to have a matter of as far as which fib level, looking left, which previous support level is actually going to hold, and we're retesting in this regard. Now the other side of that, saying, okay, well, saying, what if we don't sweep that area? What if we go a little bit higher first? What are some levels that we should be looking at? If you guys recall from VIP, I was mentioning yesterday, you know, if we had a daily close underneath 2078, the likelihood of continuation to the downside was greater than 50%. And that's exactly what we saw. We saw continuation to the downside as far as downslide. So to answer your question, as far as where we could go, in the event that we have a micro relief here, I'm looking at this 2128, this POC level. That would be the first target that I'd be looking at, to be quite honest with you. Coupled with that, we also do have a small fair value gap that sits inside there. If it continues to go higher than that, right, and we get into these levels, then we're going to start looking at some patterns. Right, we're going to be looking at this area right over here. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize some of these chart patterns that I have. It's a larger one. This is a Navarro that's playing out. Could also be viewed as a bat. What I'm getting at here is, like, if we continue to slide down, then that tells us that the price reversal zone has not completed yet here for this move right over here. And coupled with that, it would also tell us that wave 2 was just not complete yet. Let's go ahead and open that up, and let's just make sure that this is sitting here fluidly right over there. So if we get down to like maybe 2000, like I said, 1980s, 1950s, 1930s, then really we're still inside of this wave 1, right? Going from this swing point to here, and all of this move down that we're seeing right now essentially would be the wave 2 that I'm looking at right now. It's if we start to sweep 1937, yeah, we're in trouble. We're in trouble in the sense of we're most likely going to be visiting 1870s somewhere inside that area. So I want to see that these areas, if we do get a sweep, it does hold. If we do go up to the upside, it's going to be this first initial level, the POC at 2128. This is on a 4-hour. Now, if we do break out of that, right, let's say, you know, how much relief can we possibly get here in the next couple of days before the end of the month? As of the last 2 weeks, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and even Saturdays, in between those days, it doesn't have to be consecutive, but at least those days, we've seen the most movement for at least the last 2 weeks. It's weird to see movement on a Saturday. I'm not going to front. That's bananas to me in that regard. However, if we do get that movement over the course of the next couple of days, and we do see a small little breakout, we do have an inverted head and shoulders that sits right over here. That's where this green pattern that you see right here. Now, the measured move for that is going to put us somewhere right around 2281. Let's just say that it went to 2281. What else do I have in that area in the sense of confluence? Well, from a pattern perspective, and if you guys have been trading with me for some time, or at least watching some of my streams, you guys know that I like to utilize harmonic patterns coupled with Elliott waves. So when it comes to the harmonic, this Navarro that I'm looking at wave B. This would be my additional confluence. So measured move would be somewhere around 2280. And I think bare minimum, at least when we start to get into some turbulence, would be right around 2214 inside that area. Let's look at monthly real quick and see what that looks like. So we had 2214. 2214 would put us somewhere right around here inside this area. So the monthly would look like it's going to close like a doji, but it really, from a technical perspective and candle analysis, it's not going to be a doji. It's probably going to have a small body. That's assuming that we do pull back up to that area, 2214, 2280s inside that area. The month would actually close bullish, which would be a positive sign for the month of May. Let's look at previous real quick. And let's go to May of last year. It closed bullish. Let's go to May of 2024. Closed bullish. And let's go back to 2023. Still closed bullish. This is very similar to kind of what I'm looking at. Like if we close like this on this current month, something like that, that's essentially what I'm looking at. So 2023, let's go to 2022. (2022) was the only month out of the last 4 years that closed bearish. So we have quite a few months, and the reason I point that out is, like, in the event that we do close bullish, that's going to be the norm. That's, you know, history doesn't rhyme, but, you know, or at least it doesn't repeat itself, it rhymes. That's the correct colloquialism for that. And, you know, we have this analogy like, you know, sell in May, walk away type of thing. And over the last couple years, at least the last 3 out of the 4, we've closed bullish on the month of May. So that takes me back to saying, well, if we get into these levels right over here, 2214, 2280, anything like that. Shoot, we don't even have to go that high, to be quite honest. As long as we close above 2109 inside of this area, 2104 inside that zone, if we close above that, then we close bullish. So right now, we have some time. We have 4 days, 8 hours left inside of the month before that can come to fruition. We're compressed inside of this New York open zone, very similar to what we saw yesterday with the short, right? The New York open and New York low was relatively tight. We had a push up above that 2130s, 21 and some change. I believe we went up to, like 2138 inside that area. And then we had the drop to where we are right now. So now we're starting to see something very similar to that, but on the opposite side. We have a very tight range. New York open low created the new weekly low for us. So that's a definitive area right now in the sense of strong data, right? It's a strong support level for the week because that's the current low. Can it be violated in the next 4 days? Absolutely. Absolutely. So the New York open high, it just becomes this current session resistance area. It's not the strongest data in the sense of resistance area. It's just going to be a key area for right now for this current session. So I say all that to say this is, if we see the opposite of what we saw yesterday with tight range for the New York sessions going into today, then we should be revisiting this area. That's that 2128 area. That's why I was mentioning the POC. Kind of makes sense. And if we have enough volume to support that going into the next part of the days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, maybe even Sunday, at least over the course of the next 4 days and 8 hours and some change, if we get more momentum that pushes us up, then that pushes us to those targets that I was mentioning just a little while ago, getting into this wave B. Like I said, it was 2214 or 2219 and some change right here. Let's just mark it off so we have some accuracy for that. 2218.83, and then the full measured move, contingent on where we break out inside this area, would put us right around like 2280s inside that area. So that is a fast and speedy way for me to kind of give you a breakdown as far as ETH goes. I will look at this right over here saying, okay, well, we do have from this count. This is a count that I shared inside of my corner just the other day. This is the zoomed in version of this. I believe wave 3 was done. I mean, that's a pretty strong fib level for a wave 3 for a bearish count. I don't know if wave 4 is done, right? So like if I get to a 0.618, let's just say I get to that level, which is still underneath wave 1, it's 2238. Remember, we were just talking about 2218 all the way up to 2280. So we're in that in-between area if we do get to those zones, right, over the course of the next 4 days. Yes, the month would close bullish in that regard, and there could be a short-term scalp that comes into that area, and we could still go into the month of June, come back down and sweep that 4-hour 9 failure that sits right over here. All of that could happen. But we don't know. All we can really work with is probabilities. And what I'm sharing with you guys now are the probabilities as far as the outlook on 4 hours, monthlies, dailies, and even unique timeframes such as like a 1362, which if you want to use like a 10-hour or 12-hour, you can kind of get very similar data. But if we get the wave 4 that comes into this area, then that still opens up the door for wave 5 to come to fruition inside the month of June. So let's say June just has a drop down, touches these 1937s, sweeps the 4-hour 9 failure, and then it's up only after that for the remainder month of June. That's a perfect scenario if we're trying to predict that. That would be the most ideal. And so I'll be navigating us through that as the months start to develop. BTC, I still have BTC here on a downslide. I got BTC here around like 2.618. I could be wrong about that, right? Wave 3 could have been here. One of our members, Boy, was kind of calling this out just the other day that this is wave 3. In my opinion, and it doesn't mean he's wrong. This is just my opinion. That this wave 3 essentially is more weakish, for lack of better terminology. So I'm more inclined to believe that we come down to these levels, maybe get a small little bounce, retesting this area right over here, which would be the weekly low that we're currently at right now, flip that into resistance, and then we start coming back right back down. Now obviously, if that were to occur and we see a big slide down on BTC, ETH is most likely, and everything else is going to start falling down with that. So to help me navigate that thesis, or at least that theory, if we're going to have continuation to the downside first, more aggressively, before we see any type of short-term relief, I'm going to flip over to USDT. Here's the thing with USDT that I'm looking at. On the 4 hour, I had a 5 impulse wave, performed just fine, just perfect. You can see the count that goes on here. We had the ABC after the wave 3, we had the wave 4 that kind of bottomed us out, and then we had the wave 5 that came into these levels right over here. So first move down, wave A, second move right here, wave B, and then I'm looking at this as a wave C, flat level. So all this move that I'm seeing right now for USDT would be considered a wave 1. That changes if we start to come back down on USDT and USDT sweeps this area. If USDT sweeps that area, ETH is going to pump very, very hard, and so is BTC. But in the event that, let's say that was the top of wave 1, let's just make the assumption and let's look at wave 2. So this is the short-term relief rally that I'm kind of referring to right now, like getting us maybe into like 22.18, maybe even a little bit higher, 22.38 inside that area. So if USDT decides to, skirt on down and come and hold this level, or maybe even this level right over here, then we can say, okay, well, we got a wave 2 here. And then the next move up for USDT is going to be insane. It's going to be aggressive, very, very aggressive, which would point ETH down to an aggressive downslide that we could see. And that could potentially be the 5th wave. Sometimes 5th waves have 2 characteristics from my experience. They can be extremely sharp, something very similar to this. You had a wave 3, you had a 4th correction, then boom, you had an impulse up, you have wave 5. And then sometimes they can take a lot longer, like they're slowly edging up over time. So if that's the case, if we do see a wave 2 here for USDT, and then we see a massive impulse for wave 3 on USDT, then we're most likely going to get a sharp impulse to the downside for wave 5 for ETH. I know that may seem confusing, but if you guys have questions or if you need me to elaborate further, feel free. I'm gonna hop into chat real quick. What's up, boy? What's up, Stefano? Yeah, there's definitely a lot of liquidity around 2.7 and 2.9. And those are still going to be bearish retest levels. Still going to be bearish retest levels. And then we have like a diving board set up as well on a daily that I think I've mapped out for you guys for some time now. But we do have a diving board set up. And essentially diving board, when price action kind of moves sideways for a little bit, and then you have a spring up, and then all of a sudden you have a sharp plunge down. That board like that becomes the diving board, and that spring up is basically the diver that jumped up, and now he's going to go for the dive. So when we're coming back to retest, 71% of the time when we have a diving board setup, we retest the bottom of that board. At least 71% of the time. Can you have continuation to the upside? Absolutely. So the things that you look for are like V-shaped recoveries in order to start confirming, saying, okay, is this actually working out? So on a daily, we do have the bottom of that board that's like 2,700, 2,800 inside that area, which still constitutes as a bearish retest. But man, oh man, that would clear a lot of liquidity that we've been just building up and building up and building up over the last 90 days plus. Since we dropped in February to those 1740 levels, 1740, I think we topped out around 2,400. We barely scraped the CME gap that was created from that. So we still haven't even visited those areas, and the top of that gap sits around like 2623, if my memory serves me correct. So filling in that gap would be 1, touching the bottom of that diving board would be 2, clearing all that liquidity that was built up from that area would be 3, and then for ultimately being a bearish retest and then having a big push down to the downside. 2700 would be the bare minimum. I think the maximum, if we had a relief rally and we're going to be bearish and have bearish continuation for the remainder of the year, then I'm looking at like 33,000, 3,100 being like the absolute top in that regard for a bearish retest, and then have a massive push down for the remainder of the year going into the later parts of the year. Let's say around like October. Starting in September, October we'll probably see it aggressively. November we'll probably see it aggressively. December we'll probably start flattening out. Maybe a couple little spikes here and there moving sideways. January, I think it will still be flat going into next year, and then February of next year, that's when we actually start seeing recovery, and then we can start our bull run again. I promise I don't have a magic ball here. This is all just speculation. Let me do something real quick. Let me clean my camera. Sorry about that. Yeah, advanced speculation. Yeah. A lot of you guys been vibing with me for some time, so you guys know that, I'm never just bullish or just bearish. I play both sides of the market in that regard. So I try to work both angles. I'm still leaning more on the bear side, don't get me wrong, but there's opportunities for longs that are appearing here in the market. So some of us inside VIP, you guys are already privy to this. I had mentioned first thing this morning, and I also mentioned yesterday inside of the video. I showed you the fib levels as far as where we're bouncing. I think it was like 3 o'clock in the morning or something like that. I took a snippet and showed you where this wave, where that fib level came to, where this TD9 sequential failure came to in this area. So we're still floating around inside that area. A small little sweep underneath that just means that it cleared that 9. But now we can just manage. Now we just kind of see what's going on here. Let's go over to like a 1 minute just because we get faster candles in that regard. And so just suppressed inside of this New York session area. I think we're going to revisit this area for sure if buyers decide to step up into the market. Tape surf right now. Let's see what tape surf is doing. Whoops, didn't mean to go that far. Sorry about that. Yeah, 2077. There's a little wall that's sitting right there at 2077. But everything underneath, it's very thin. Very, very, very thin. And if we kind of zoom out, 2114 is a level. And then we have all these hot pockets that sit right above here. Let's what at 2214. What was that level? So 2254. We got some orders that sit right here. 2252. 2204. And it gets really, really warm all up in here. 2323 inside that area. I don't think we'll get there before the end of the month, in my honest assessment. Yeah, we got some downsides going on right now. Yeah, let's look at some whale alerts here, see if we can check out some of these alerts. So nothing's populating yet. Just give it a minute to start populating. You can see what's going on. And then let's look at... Man, I haven't looked at ETH all day. Woo! Stupid longs building in. You see, that's the issue. We got a lot of longs that are just building in and piling in and aping in. So it's just creating this liquidity for us unnecessarily, to be quite honest with you. So basically retail is just aping in. That's in short, that's the best way of putting it. Nobody's ready for the sweep. I still have this short running from yesterday. I've taken profits on it, but I still have it running. At least here on lower time frame, obviously I'm on a 1 minute, but from an execution perspective, you know, we got a bunch of shaved heads that are appearing here. And if I come back over, 2104 has 699 million, so there's a good little cluster that sits there. So from between 2083 up to 2104, there's a nice little cluster that sits inside that zone. So that's all of these guys right over here. All of these guys right over here. And then these guys right over here. So there's a decent amount of liquidity from, you know, from these levels all the way up to here. Decent amount. And there's another one down to 2041. There's like 769 million. So there's quite a few longs liquidity wise. 2026, we start getting into the billions. We start getting into the billions. Yeah, 2030 is not a bad area to be peaking for. This is why I'm just leaving the short running. I have the short set at break even right now, but it's just, I'm utilizing it to help me build some scalp positions. On longs, take profits and then move on to the next. Take profits and then move on to the next. So I've scalped this already like 3 times. Yeah, there we go. And there's no big whales or institutional money that's buying ETH right now. All this price action that we've been seeing over the last like 2 weeks has mainly been caused by retail. Sure, you got a couple whales that are out there that are buying, but I'm talking about like institution wise. I mean, Harvard just the other day dumped all of their entire ETH bags. They sold everything. Damn you, Harvard. You guys are supposed to be smart. Yeah, I think we're going to go for another weekly low sweep. I'll look for the long on that. I got an impulse coming here. There's the start of it. They bought here. Yeah, because there's a shape bottom there. Liquidity, so they're buying inside a liquidity zone over here. just be careful. I mean, we can hold above that weekly low, then and we're good. I mean, that POC that I was mentioning earlier on the 4-hour is going to be the ideal target, at least for TPs, and then seeing what occurs after that. I would take at least 50% at that level if you're longing, and then if we have a breakout of that zone, then I can just add back and my average will be fine. Yeah, see this area right over here? They're liking this area. Curious what they're seeing. So this wick. They're trying to build a demand area there. I think it'd actually be a little bit lower, to be honest with you. It should be somewhere right around here. That's probably the most ideal. But I'm not going to argue with it in the sense of say that I'm right and or wrong. I'm just showing you kind of like what demand area that they're showing us right now. Because this first wick that touched over here, I was like, why are we touching over here? Well, I could see there was liquidity that was established over here inside this side. And then right over here, you know, they showed what they want, the intent of like, okay, well, we wanted the intent here. We pushed down beneath that. So then it becomes this box, this wick to this wick. This becomes the box. This closed bullish. So buyers obviously stepped in here on a lower time frame from an execution perspective. So let's give them a small little range and some grace in the sense of like what area that they can be coming to. If the box gets violated, the box gets violated, right? Cipher wave wise, I mean, we had our green dot, then we had a sell dot. So this, when I start seeing red dots on the bottom like this, these are more shakeouts. And it really positions sellers, bears, in an oversold position. It positions them there. So when I start seeing that, I start looking for exit dumps. And then we want to long the exit dumps. What happens if I stretch that over? Oh yeah, look at that. What happens if I go more? Okay. It's got some significance, I guess. Swept it. Act as resistance. Pushed through it. Bum, 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 bum. Tested it. Moved up. Test, 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 test. So something's going on here. At least in this level, this area. You always want to try to catch the bottom of a session, at least a higher time frame session. So this indicator that I have just marks out where the weekly lows are and where the weekly highs. So this is our range right now for this week, 2141 through 2051. So you have all this space inside here. You know, break above the weekly, then we look for shorts. Break below the weekly low, and we look for longs. You know, I didn't look at hype again. And as a matter of fact, I kind of fumbled a bag on that one in the sense of re-entry. I was looking for a re-entry on that one, but I think I just went to end up going to sleep. Oh no, I'm still okay. Yeah, I think I'm still okay. I don't think my wave B has come in yet. Yeah, I don't think my wave B's come in yet for hype. Did I measure that? I did measure that. Okay. Let's look at the reverse for extensions. Okay, that could be an extension. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna look at these levels. Anywhere inside this box, I want to see what occurs here in this box first. But then when we get to these levels, you know, 65 through 67, I'm gonna look again for the shorts, and then we can ride that down. Shave bottom on that. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? 1 minute gives you anxiety. Well, it's just it makes a stream a little bit more worthwhile versus watching slow candles on higher time frames, but I totally get you on that one. What's up, Digo? How you doing, man? Right, you can't help but notice that, right? And sometimes it's the most obvious things that just become the death of a trade. So we got like this little tiny channel going on here. Yeah, so let's just make a proper channel for it. If I can find my channel tool, that'd be fantastic. There we go. Where was I on this one? It was somewhere around here, right? Yeah. So I want to say this would be the top of my channel. Yeah, that works. That works. That actually worked out perfect. So what's the bottom of this channel here? Yeah, breaking new lows, getting into, what is that, 2048? Yep. Dangerous ground, dangerous ground. Yeah, because we had a smaller channel, so that, you know, when you're using channels on lower time frames, you know, give them a, you just use them with like a grain of salt, if you will. Just gonna try to get back inside there. Okay. Actually, what is that rejecting? There's nothing there. It'd be more here. Yeah, it'd be more there. Crosshair, what is this right here? 2062. Take a peek at USDT. Yep. Because in a perfect world, I have my ABC, so maybe I get my one. I'm just gonna point up and just say 2, and then I get my 3, I get my 4, and then I get my 5. Let's look at what a wave 2 level would be, because obviously it would need to be sharp. So we're gonna go from here to here. Let's flip that over. Let's get rid of some of this extra noise. Don't need that. I don't want that. So right now I'm like, I haven't even touched my 0.76, or have I? Oh, I did. My fault. I did. Just nipped it. So that very well could be our 2, and then our 3 if we get a correction to the downside on this. So, you know, bare minimum puts us inside of this fair value gap that sits right over here. Deeper levels will put us down here. I don't know. So I'll just get rid of it for now. We'll wait for it to mature. So it looks like it's got a little bit of a high in it. Yeah. I think we get into 2151s again, see if we can hold that somewhere around this black line right here. Yeah. Yep, USDT 4-hour. And you got some resistance going on here. I mean, like I was saying, like perfect world is, you know, this whole move up becomes the wave 2, and then we go into wave 3. The other side of that is saying all of this is a wave 1, and then the retracement for USDT would be the wave 2. And if it holds, you know, it doesn't make a lower low, then yeah, we're SOL. And I'm not talking about Solana. So I don't think buyers are anywhere to be found though, guys. Like they're just like, yeah, you got some buy orders, but you got sell orders coming in. Brother, literally shorting 2055, 2059. They're shorting that level. Have you guys had an opportunity to check out the site yet? Or utilize it? Feedback is welcomed. Anything you guys would like to see on there that you think would help you as a trader, at least on the go, something that you can look at real quick, feel free. These are the first layers, if you will. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Big maybe. Oh, appreciate that, Sniper. Thank you, bro. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You really want anxiety. Here you go. I can only stay here for so long before I start freaking out. Like, no, no, no. Yeah, the bounces, they suck. That's the best way of putting it. They suck. They don't hold at all. Oh, let me say it again. The bounces suck. They don't hold at all. Does that work? Maybe it does. All right. The bounces suck. Hold it all. I'm a goofball. I know. I get it. As some Ethereum or somebody from the networks literally watching the streams, they go, "Yeah, watch this. Hold my beer." To Valhalla. I'll say it again. The bounces suck. They don't hold. A little reverse psychology, yeah, right? Yeah, big dog fight. Yeah, you got whales that are shorting in this area. As a matter of fact, I want to check on that other whale. Well, actually, I don't want to go to that because I don't know if that's going to mess up the stream and mess with my bandwidth. I hate when it does that. Yeah, see? Told you. Yeah, we were right. Bounces suck. You're doing nothing here. Absolutely nothing. Come on, just go for the sweepy poo. Sweep it, man. Sweep it. Sweep it. 2048s. Let's go. 2048s. Let's go.
Here we go.
If you ever wanted to get better at scalping, bro, you've had 2 weeks of solid practice. Put me in, coach. Have you had enough practice? No. Yes, you have. I gave you 2 weeks. I gave you 2 weeks of drills. I mean, if you're practicing scalping, I mean, you don't need to use a large margin. You're just practicing. You know, make $5 entries, if anything. The real practice when it comes to scalps is not going to be the entry. You know, please let that marinate. It's the exit. Like that's what makes you good at a scalp. You could take several of them, but if you're good at exiting, just like boom, I'll take that. Boom, I'll take that. But if you're getting into, you know, saying you're getting into a scalp and you have a good position and you see it starting to ride up and you're in a lower time frame, you're like, whoa, I don't know if this scalp's going to turn into an intraday. I don't know if it's going to turn into a swing. That's when that starts to, that thought starts to seed into you, man. And it becomes a problem. Then you get round tripped, possibly even pushing you out when you could have took profits. I think a lot of traders, in my opinion, because I used to be guilty of this in my earlier days, like you get into a position, you're seeing it ride and you're like, yo, this is great. This is awesome. And then you start looking at how high this can actually go. And you forget that none of the profits that you're seeing are real until you close some of it. So somebody could flex, you know, like, yo, I'm up like 400% on this move. I'm like, that's great. That's a phenomenal entry, but it means little to nothing if you don't take any profits. And that's got to be the mechanism. You'll take the stop loss? Yeah. If you're getting round tripped like more than once, then that needs to be a cue for you to go and say, okay, well, I need to go and look at weekly or a 3-day and see what this current session or candle looks like. And you got long wicks on both sides, then that immediately tells you, okay, it's taking both sides. It's taking both sides, and I need to start scalping. Just be aggressive on TPs. This market, for some time now, obviously, but at least after that February low of 1744, like vast majority of everything has been aggressive TPs. And I still struggle with that from time to time. Like I'll get into a position, I'm like, yo, this has got to be the one. It's got to be the one. You know, this has got to be where the relief rally is at. Let's go. And then I got to remind myself, I'm like, yo, just close profits, go to sleep, and get back in tomorrow. Sure, you may lose that beautiful entry and you may not revisit that area anymore, but that doesn't change the bias in the direction that it's going. You could always just re-enter. when the position hits 10% or when your portfolio hits 10%? I mean, 10% a day on your port is great. I mean, if you're trading 4 or 5 days a week, you know, within a month, you'll 2x your account. But 10% on a position, meh. That's only if you're like looking to like de-risk or something like that. But I'd say if it's 10% of the port, yeah, I mean that's a beautiful plan. Oh, when the position hits 10%, nah. Unless you're de-risking and you plan on adding back to that position. Just get me to the point of making 45K a month, and then you can retire. That's what's up. If it's doable, I think to start doing 45K a month, to get into that consistency level, you're looking at least 9 months. And that's contingent on like what kind of account size you're starting with. So like if you're starting with like 1K a month, then I think for the first like, let's say like 3 months, you're going to take that 1K and build it to, let's just say 25K over 3 months. Then now you have a 25K account portfolio. You're already accustomed to doing it on a 1K account. So now there has to be a shift. It's called a power shift. Most people lose money when they start to make money because they never make the shift. They still have the same mentality of when they made that money, and they don't make that very minor adjustments so that way they can continue to elevate. And then when you're in the process of elevating, you're in the process of learning at the same time. So there's going to be some learning curves to that. Yep. We're going to sweep it. Sweep it. I don't wanna. I longed that, by the way, just if anybody's curious. That's why you see these alarms. I've had these alarms going off for it. I want to see if we can get back to New York. It was 2071. Take a little bit off the top for that. Alright, so let's adjust our... I mean, we're still inside this box. I mean, technically the box is still valid, but I want to give it a little bit more scrutiny. If I can find... I think I stretched it out on 21, right? Yeah. That's too... I'll just go back to 1 minute. I'll just make another box. It's fine. Let's do the same thing. Let's go with gold. Yeah, that works. In numbers. Yeah, let's see. We're in the middle of that channel right now. Let's see if we can break above that volume area low. Okay, small little push. So if I'm on a 1 minute here, if I start to see this thing like starting to like just pushing up aggressively, then I'm immediately going to a higher time frame so I can get better data, so I can relax, if that makes sense, not get carried away. Nope. Today in Arts and Craft Kids. Look, Dad, I'm a bricklayer. Why did you do that? That's not what I want. Where's my 4-hour? I don't know. I was having fun with that. Oh, are you here? Oh no, no, you're not there. You're over here. Nope, you're not there either. Where are you? There you are. Me killer. I need an impulse just for this to make sense, so I'm just kind of just speculating. Oh, the bear? Oh, damn, I forgot his name. But yeah, I got him here somewhere. I gotta find him. I don't know where I put him. No, I can't find my bear. I don't know where I put it. Woo! There you go. One more downslide. Beautiful. Alright, so violated the box. Good there. Good there. I don't know what this is. Came to the bottom of that channel. Are you done with your sweep? Are you? What are we doing here? So that wave that I had, that's a no-go. It's a no-go. Can't find this bear. Yeah, possible. Yeah, because you got that 9 failure over here. So that would make sense to go to that target. There we go. So liquidity here. Okay. Excuse me. Yeah, that's all those shorts from 2055. Oh, you're welcome, boy. Anytime, bro. Yo, Scissors, I got your message. Yeah, I'll run something like that, bro. Just target the sweeps, bro. Just target the sweeps. And then whatever your position is, once it's double, just get out. So like if you're going in with 100 and you hit 100, just walk out. You can take 10 trades a day doing that and you'll hit a G note. But just wait for the sweeps. Like say you could have caught this one here, rode that for a little bit. Once you start seeing that rejection, or if you hit 100, then you got out. Then if you long this, you know, once you hit that 100 or whatever dollar amount you're using margin wise. But I will say, you know, for you to hit the targets, you gotta increase the margin a little bit and reduce the leverage. Like don't run 125, bro. I still can't find my bear. I've been looking for my bear for like a hot minute here. Okay, kids, today on Arts and Craft. I'm just sitting on New York. Pew pew! Right here, this big fella right here. It's time to eat. They're selling on that previous support too. Wild boy. Shoot, I just saw that. That's 30-minute shave bottom. Yeesh, 2030s, yeah. That looks quite aggressive. I'm still long if anybody's curious or anybody cares. And I'm still short as well too, so I'm still hedged. Sounds good, Sniper. Thank you, bro. Yeah, I think I got a shaved bottom right here. Oh no, it's 6 cents. It's thin liquidity though. Hold on. What's this one? Very thin liquidity there. Oh, look at that. Imagine that. Imagine that. Oh, damn. You get me to one of my targets I'm looking at. Okay. Oh, yeah. You get me there. Okay. Okay. $22.35. I'm gonna break this channel. Was a nation. Yeah, bounces suck. Was a nation. What happens if I widen this out? I don't know. I'll keep it there. All right, you reached 0.76, okay. Now what do you want to do? These things are stronger than BTC right now. A bit, yeah. Yeah, BTC's at the weekly low. I mean, it's still got all that space down there. It could stop here. Let me flip back to that real quick. It could. It could. It just depends on what this decides to do here. It might push into this 7.66. Approaching some bottoms. Approaching. Okay. What is that about? Dead cat? Yeah, I'll scalp some of that out. Oh snap! Was that a 9? Oh, there was a 9. Oh, it was an impulse. Okay. So why are you showing me intent there? All right, somebody pissed off a bull. Why there though? Why are you showing me there? Sorry. I need to do something real quick. I need to see something. It's such an odd place. Okay. Okay. So you had some consolidation inside that area. Try to reconsolidate here again too. Flush down. And you got a ton of it going on right over here. Nah. Let's see that. Let's see if that actually sticks. Away from here.
Show me all the places I've never known, and we'll chase the night, race all of these broken dreams in flight.
Yeah, dead cat. Meow. Neutral, but that's 1 minute, so that really doesn't mean squat. Yeah. Alright, so you flushed a 9. Yeah, you're gonna go for this. I think that makes sense. What the hell are you though? I can't even get a proper.
Up here, we're free, bound only by frozen memories, lost in time, racing all these broken dreams tonight.
2082. Yeah, that's why the volume area high. Way away, and I'll fly. That'd be hella interesting. We got back to here. Oh damn! You know what I messed up? So I think I deleted it. Yeah. You're my 930, right? Yeah, you're my 930. We gotta mark that off. And look, see, now we're rejecting it. That's New York open low, by the way. Like, what are we rejecting here in this area? We got 3 sweeps on this time frame. So my chocho's here. That sounds weird. My change of character is here. My chocho's here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I have 3. And look at another one that's just over here. Okay. Yeah, that's at 100%, bro. I'm on 4 hour here, right? Yep. Right at 100%. I'm checking to see what time frame actually shows that there's any accumulation. Okay. So 55, you gave me that. So then 34, did you go green yet? You're getting into green. All right, cool. I'll mess with you. I'll give you the attention. What's your coloration though? Nah. Kinda green. Not the green that I'm looking for, but kinda green. I'm just running through tools real quick. Looking for confluence. Yeah, ran right into stop, but that's okay because that's just based on how I have that engineered. Yeah, and you put me over there? Look at you, Pikachu. I know I'm flipping through a bunch of time frames. It's a method to my own madness, so I apologize if that's too much for you guys. You don't show session breaks there? That's dumb. Okay, so not good with that. It's still gonna be the key area right now. You gotta get a thrust here, reclaim this. You need to see that, reclaim. You need to see this, reclaimed, and then this reclaimed. That's a lot of work. And that's on a 2. Damn, you moved your intent up? That's great. So let me make sure I'm reading this right. You swept New York open low, closed above it, swept it again, closed above it, and now opening on it again. Interesting. One, two, three, 4. Change the setup phase on a lower time frame. We got to go here. No green dot printed just yet. Hmm. Want to check one more tool? A little bit of life right there. Okay. Yeah, 2091, that's that area. There's going to be some turbulence there. What's the top of this cloud? It's so compressed to 2103. Yeah, there's going to be a snap coming. Let's check here. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. Did all that wrong. Did all that wrong. Okay. Okay, 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 okay. Yeah, it's got more juice in it. Another dead cat bounce. What's up, Solar? I don't know, man. We're on this 30. We're just holding it. We saw the same crap yesterday. This was 26, right? So this was yesterday. And I think we saw that on 15. Yeah, that's the proper way. I needed to do that. Sorry about that. Right? New York, then we went above. And then obviously we had this crash down on it. And today it's kind of doing the opposite. Going below it, kind of like how this one above it. It's going below it and then trying to build on it. But see, this didn't even give you a clean retest of it, bro. I mean, you could have saw it all in 1 minute. Maybe you saw that. They were trying to defend that area. Why does this not put my damn... 1, 2, 3. So that puts me back at 21.28. That's next week. That's gonna suck. So it's really how much further I'm gonna go down here. Oh my gosh. I don't need this line. These are the most important right now. Market's actually technically like already closing. It's already winding down. Maybe it will be sweep on the last sweep until 0. ETH is not going to 0, bro. Over 1/3 of it's staked. The virtual impossibility for it to go to 0. I mean, you can get to, 3-digit handles, yeah, but not 0. I mean, people have to remember, ETH is still in its infant stage in the sense of technology. Sure, technology moves faster in that regard, but when you're looking at it from an asset perspective and looking at and comparing it to commodities or material, metals, gold, things like that, like all of crypto is still in its infant stage. Or I'd say toddler stage, maybe not infant, but still it's in its toddler stage. It's getting its walking legs still. It's putting things in its mouth that it shouldn't. I know. I figured as much. Yep. I'm with you, brother. I'm with you. Excuse me. And tape surface showing (2063, 2078). Yeah, I mean, 2078 is going to be really the key area, man. If we can reclaim that, then yes, maybe we get a little bit of effery going into the last little bit of the month. The good news, at least for me, well, not me per se, that sounds wrong, but like what I was explaining in the beginning of the stream, what I explained yesterday in VIP was the last 2 weeks, just look at the pattern. We've had Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturday movements. Today's Wednesday. We got movement on Wednesday. It may not be the movement for some those that are looking along, but if you're short and we shorted from yesterday, look at the movement we got. So I'm still holding mine on LBank. I've stripped a good portion of it though so far. Obviously you guys can see where I'm currently long on this bad boy. I also got a long here on Bitunix as well too. But the heavier load is on LBank right now, just running a personal challenge on it. Be right back, guys. Gotta use the restroom. Oh. Anybody else long? Anybody catch along? Am I alone here? That's what's up. Yo, sisters, if you need the SMD indicator, if you think it'll help, just let me know. Or if you're doing it by hand, you know, it's just something to help point it out for you. But I thought I added you to it, but if you need it, just let me know. Is it going to load? There it is. Shameless plug. Anybody's curious, these are the indicators that we offer. They're all here on TradingView. You can find them inside the server as well. If you can't get the link or anything like that, if you run into any snags, then just shoot me a DM. But you can browse through them and see which ones that we offer. So if you feel like it would help your trading experience, just DM me. Yeah, either we get that sweep here in the next 4 days, or we're going to get that sweep in the beginning of June. Right now, we're just gonna work with the session. This session swept the lows, but pulled back in and closed above it on 2 candles so far. This is on a 30-minute, of course. But I'm just seeing what occurs here inside of all this. Actually, let's look at a fib zone. See if I can line up with that to any degree. Yeah, compression zones. Yep, compression zones. And there's an 8 right there. Right on there. Yeah, Asia. I think Asia's going to be... Asia and London are going to be wild. I don't have bias on direction yet. I just based on the fib zones and the compressions and how those react to fib zones, I think those are going to be wild sessions. Let's look at liquidity. Let's see what's occurred there. Man, they keep aping in, brother. Sheesh. $492 and billions put me here. Yeah, that's sweet. Yeah, there's gonna be some crime bulls. And what do we have here? At what point do I get to the billion? Oh wow, nice pocket there. Yeah, that's at 2108, 2111. I don't know, let's just see how crazy this gets. That's 1 day. Let's go 7 days. There's the pocket. Look at that. 2160. 1.4 billion. What happens if I get to 22s? What did we say earlier? 2218? 2 billion over there. So pocket here and then a pocket in here. So price would blow past that, and maybe target 2159. And if we continue, it'll blow past this and then get us in 2207. A small little pocket here, and then it starts to die off here. So yeah, 2223. Man, that would be so juicy. That would create a good balance. That would create a good balance. What? I didn't ask for that. I asked for that. $20.40, so it already tapped into it. Well, it's just already tapped into it. Why does it do that? This is one of the reasons why I hate CoinGlass. 2098. Mm, mm, mm. $1988, look at that. What's here? 2171, 22, but that's 48 hours. Still like the week. $21.63. Yeah, that 21.63 looks a good area. Look at all this up here. Oh, now you let me zoom in. Yeah, it's still might possibly even fleshed out a little bit. 2038 versus 2155. Just remember those numbers. $38, 487 million. Let's just go a little bit deeper. Let's just say 10 pips or more. So close to a billy. And what was that one? Like 2155? Oh yeah. Yeah, bro, there's way more to the upside. There's way more to the upside. Way more to the upside. So just let it breathe, man. Let the long breathe for a little bit. If you caught a long, just let it breathe a little bit. Set a timer if you want for 4:30 and 8 o'clock. That's Eastern Standard Time. And then check what price action is doing at that time. They're selling again at 2054. Again. Oh, wrong playlist.
Check. Yeah.
There you go. Where was I? Brain fart. I mean, yeah, we gotta push down, but volume sucks. What's your weak volume? I mean, you can see the trend line going up through here. So let's see if that holds. I have a similar view over here. Here it is. Yeah, so we're just kind of holding that. Just one underneath the POC from this area, 2 POCs. And volume area low 1906 and 1741. Jeez, flux of buy orders just stepped in. Where are you guys coming from, bro? These are small though, man. Nobody with substantial weight. You got a 120. I feel like logging in. Come on. Yeah, see here the 57s. Yeah, these are small. I mean, it's really not that small, but it's I'm comparing it to like some of these bigger guys out there who make ridiculous size ones. 7 BTC, jeez. No, they're just selling on that 30. Stupid. There you go, the cells. Yeah, those are the cells. So it pulls. I mean, it pulls the same data that you're going to see on Hyperbot. You can just see it from your chart and see exactly what's occurring on that chart. You want to look at like a 1 minute or something like that, or whatever time frame. You can change your candles around. You can also see where the delta's at as well too. See where the session stats are at. You have fear and greed index right here at the top, 25 right now. Funding rate is still positive, so hasn't gone negative yet. So just some tools for you guys. Man, possibly. So just real quick, you guys got me here probably for like another about 45 minutes or so. Trying to do at least 2 to 3, 4 hours on these streams per day. Tomorrow I will not be streaming. I'll be out of pocket. I'll be AFK. I'll still be looking at charts, things like that. But I got a couple things I need to do around here. So tomorrow I won't be streaming. Friday I'll be back to streaming. Saturday might do a stream, maybe. Just depends on where the market movement's at. I mean, if we get some crazy movement, then I'll pop on here and see if you guys want to vibe with me. I'm not leaving yet or anything like that. I'm just letting you know, heads up. We got like 45 minutes here before I step out and just kind of wrap up my day on the things that I need to do on my side. That being said, if there's questions, things that you want me to cover now, if there's a different coin, you want me to cover real quick? So far, we've talked about ETH, we've talked about USDT, we've talked about BTC. I did peek at hype for a little bit. I'm still waiting for that to come back for a wave B on that. But if there's a different coin, then let me know. No, 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 no. Yeah, there's a shaved head. I think Whacker was talking about it earlier. Where'd that shaved head go? I think it was on a 15 he was looking at. Yeah, it's this bad boy right over here. Yeah, 2084. And a shaved head that sits over there. Oh. Let's go back to that real quick. Alright. Alright, broke out of that channel. So bye-bye channel. Oh, excuse me. Wild. Why you got me looking at poop coins, bro? Where are you finding wild on Binance or something? Where are you finding this? Yeah, I don't know where. I don't know what the ticker handle name is. What the correct name is. WLD. Okay. What the heck? I probably need more data on that. Same difference. Okay. Well, you hit an all-time low. You swept your all-time low. When did this thing originate, bro? Alright, it's like 3 years old. It's not that bad. Still don't like it. definitely wouldn't be looking for shorts. You can't get a proper, I mean, get a bearish count, but not really. I mean, it can't even, I don't even want to call that a 2. I mean, maybe you got a 5, then you got A, B, and C. 1, 2, okay. Yeah, I could do it that way. Well, not really. I mean, 1, 2. It's just ugly. 2, 3, 4. But see, that's the most impulsive. Well, it's not greater. Actually, it is greater. Yeah, so I can't use that. So, I don't know where you're getting wave 4s from. Maybe you're on a lower time frame. But I can tell you have a scallop bottom, and when I was looking at this daily here, you just weren't done, were you? I don't like it. I mean, I look for longs, but I doesn't mean I like it. What? Why did I do that? I picked the wrong tool, my fault. Nope. I mean, you could. You got a swan out of that. Looks like a white swan. Nothing? Okay. Yeah, a whole bunch of little ones down here. Brain rot right there. it didn't even come to that one of those levels. So yeah, that don't work. Not like that. Yeah, the only way that works is from here. Okay. Pretty damn close. Where are you, bro? What am I missing here? Think this is why you think there's a, or you believe you're in wave 4? Yeah, I have a feeling this is going to be a complex. There's so much over here that I feel like it's going to be a complex. I don't think that'll be a straight shoot. Everybody's going to pray for a flag. I mean, this is like... I don't even think that's possible, bro. Yeah, it's not even possible. You'll probably get truncation on this, if not double bottom. But that's best case. Unless this was my 3. And that's my 4. Let's see what that looks like. Look. Yeah, that makes a little bit more sense. That makes a little bit more sense. Okay. So I need to fix this. Whoops. Let's start here. Okay. And get rid of that. What were you? You're 4, right? So where's the bottom of you? There you are. Yep.
Take me away from home. Show me all the places I've never known.
Bro. How are you not giving me? Okay. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I'm not gonna argue that. Hmm. Trying to be sneaky, trying to be difficult. That's fine. I got a different way I can measure you. Fudge. Found you. I found you.
Up here, we're free, bound only by frozen memories, lost in time, racing all these broken dreams tonight, and we'll fly.
Meh. Yeah. Oh. Kind of need an ABC here. So
Thank God that the brothers on the rise now. Endless celebrations all in my house. Levitating now, I'm super duper fly now. London boy, but DC where I reside now. Put the time in while you always yelling time out. And for quit it, cause I know I'm coming with it. You were sitting, you were wishing I was handling my business. Now I got the ball like Harry Potter playing Quidditch. And my business is humongous, you would think that happens in it. Damn man, I'm all that, yeah, I'm all that. Working for that whip, yeah, that what you call that. I'ma blow up in the summer, have him yelling fall back. And I've always been ahead like an effing ball cap. Man, I came in the game like, whoa. Got a couple chains on me cause I like gold. They told me I'm the best and I told them I know. Cause when I'm in your town, every ticket I sold. Yeah, they saying I'm the man. Facts, bro. Lot of haters, tell me where they at though. I'm the new pop, all I do is rap though. Want me on your song, throw a couple stacks, yo. Everybody wanna do the same thing. That's why we ain't on the same page. Do my own thing and I maintain. Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream. I'm going mainstream. Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream. Yeah, I'm going mainstream. Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream. I'm going mainstream. Mainstream. Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream. Yeah. I'm going mainstream. Damn. Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream. Woo. I'm going mainstream. Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream.
I'm on my own, broken alone. I feel the rain crashing down all around this empty town. I'm searching for the lost and found, but you don't care, you're unaware. Keep moving like the scars aren't even there. It's in the air like a blazing flare. Don't stare 'cause the flames will burn us. I thought you were the one for me. That's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. I used to kiss your head when you cried for me. Hold your hand while the pain was over. Keep you warm by the roaring sea. Oh, you meant the world to me.
I'll post it inside the corner for you. Inside VIP for you, because this is your request, and I most likely won't be monitoring it. That's yours, right, boy? Okay, yeah. You can use my pivot points or, copy it. The thicker fibs are the ones that are already completed. I'm looking at this being a completion of a wave A, then a wave B, then you get a wave C, and then all of that would form a wave 1. All of that would form a wave 1, then you'll get a correction down here, and then you'll get your 3. I'm speculating because you'll have 1, and then you'll start building an uptrend support line. You'll come back and test it a couple times. That's where this black line comes from, and it kind of gives you that V shape that you're looking for, and then you'll get your impulse, which would test these areas over here, these diving board areas that I was looking at, which is right where wave B is at. So you have a bullish count that sits right here. You have a PRZ that comes over here. I think you'll float around here for a little bit. You'll get a wave B, you'll come down, and then you'll get into this zone right over here, which is just above the wave B. And then you'll look for a PRZ over here and then see if that's an ABC, and you start coming back down, right? Seeing if you get like an ABC that comes down and then maybe holds this area and then goes for a new count, or if it goes for a count here and then continues right back down again. I can't think that far ahead, but I can kind of give you some speculation as far as what we're looking at. And so the blue fibs right over here, I'm estimating for a C leg that sits over here, because I have my fifth leg that came over here, so naturally I need an ABC to follow. Very similar to what we had right over here. You had your 5th leg, you have your ABC that sits right there, so then you get your count from there. So we're looking for something very similar on that. Get your ABC, and then you'll get your correction down. That'll be your 1, so all of the ABC will be 1. You can look at minute and subwaves and constitute this as a 1, and then maybe call that a 3. And then you get a correction, but I'm going from a daily here. But that's how I chart it. And this can be elongated a little bit more, right? Like wave 3 can be a little bit further out, but like that's the level that I'm looking at right now. That didn't take too long. For future reference, I think it's on the chart. Yeah, is it on the chart? Binance? Yeah, it's on the chart for Binance. So if we ever need to come back to it, I'll remember it's here. It's inside Citadel charts. Now I'm gonna go back to my baby. Okay. Hopefully that helps. Hoping you guys got some good info out of today. Good stream overall. But that kind of brings it for a conclusion for me. Trying to stay disciplined in all areas right now, create a little bit more balance. Not that anybody has, but just sharing with you. That's why I'm going to be dropping off. Handle some things that I hear here on my side. Got to eat some food. I actually haven't eaten. Been streaming all day, just pounding the tea away. But like I said, I hope you guys got some good information on this. I'll be off tomorrow, as I mentioned before. I'll be back on again on Friday. Hopefully we get a little bit more movement. I will be on charts though tomorrow, so I'll be inside the server, checking in with you guys, answering questions where I can here and there. There's other good traders that are in there too that have an idea as far as what I'm looking at. VSA is one of them. I think he might be back. I don't know. He posted something today in the corner, so he might be back. Solar's another good guy. He may not want you to lean on him, but I'm imploring you to lean on him because the guy's educated, so he knows what he's doing. Scissors has great concepts as well too. He actually trades multiple different coins, very similar to you boys. So someone to lean on. Sniper also knows wave technicians as well, so I'm just name dropping a couple of individuals that are out there. Gus is another guy that's out there. He's pretty busy with his education right now, so I don't know if he'll get back to you, but my point to that is that in the event that I'm not able to answer that question, you can use the tag everyone and somebody can answer that question for you. They can give you a little bit more concept, and then when I circle back around, if I have a little bit more time, I can peel back that onion and give you guys some information. Other than that, be safe going out through Asia and through London. I think there's going to be some wild moves. I definitely think there's going to be some wild moves going into Asia and London. So if that's something that you're not going to be awake for, you're going to be trading just to set your stop losses, break even, there's going to be an opportunity that's going to be brewing here on Thursday and Friday for sure. And then Saturday is always a questionable day for us, but over the last 2 weeks, Saturdays have been crazy movement, which is mind-boggling to me. So just be safe. It's a long way of saying just be safe while you're out there. If you had some profits today, take them. Take the day off. Go and enjoy the rest of your day. The market will be there. Finish the day with a win. Don't finish the day with greed. Remain patient while you're out there. And above all, if no one's told you, God loves you. I love you. Thank you for being here. I'll catch you guys soon. Peace.